Big thanks to Cardmarket for sponsoring today's video. All right, we need to talk about these new OP13 leaks. Mainly, the one card that does anything for my GOAT Bello Betty. If you didn't know, there was a new Ivankov revealed, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say about it, and that includes me. Let's just jump and show you the card, and then I'll explain what I think about it and why I think the way that I do. All right, so here it is. Emporio Ivankov, red character, 2 cost 3000 power, and a counter 1000. And of course, the Revolutionary Army tag. If your characters with the Revolutionary Army trait would be KO'd by an opponent effect, you may trash this character instead. So, realistically, what does this do for us? It means that if you have this on the board and your opponent tries to KO one of your other characters with an effect, you will instead trash this character. Obviously, that's what the fucking card says. However, there are very, 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 very few situations where this is going to actually help. All right, so think about the meta, right? Number one played deck is Blue Purple Luffy, and that deck doesn't run KO removal. Green Purple Luffy doesn't run KO removal. Realistically, the only deck that runs KO removal at the moment is Lucci. And Lucci at this point is kind of like a 50-50 matchup already, so it's not even that bad. But what does this card actually do for us, right? It means that if we can get like an Ivankov and a Karasu out, that sure, they can't KO them both. They can't even KO one. I'm pretty, if I remember how cards like these work, right? If they were to try to forecast Lucci, KO my Ivankov and my Karasu, I would just trash this instead. And I think that if they were to KO my Karasu and this card, I could also just trash this instead. I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure. I don't know rulings that much. But the huge, 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 huge negative about this card is that this is an Ivankov, which means it cannot be played off of 4-cost Ivankov. 4-cost Ivankov says you can only play out Revolutionary Army characters with 5,000 power or less that are not named Ivankov. You can play it off of 5-cost Ivankov, sure, that doesn't specify, but you cannot play this off of 4-cost Ivankov, which is brutal, because usually you're going to struggle to find space to just drop a 2-Dawn card. Unless you have an Ivankov on the board, in which you can cheat things out and get value that way. But it's just not going to fit into our curve because it doesn't get played off of the Ivankov. Unless we get a card in this set that is like a 4-cost, play out a 2-cost, something like that. Now we're talking. Now it can actually probably be played. But as of right now, this is a card that cannot be played off of Ivankov. Only helps in like one specific matchup, and is generally a bad card, right? It just doesn't do what we need it to do. But there are good news. This is a 2-cost, 3k, 1k counter Revolutionary Army card. This goes straight into the low-cost Bello Betty build. All right, this fits perfectly into the low-cost Bello Betty build. You run a bunch of 1-cost, and then you run Kuma, Koala, and this. And then you have your 1-drops and 2-drops all set. And that's all you need, right? You don't play like any higher than that. You can play like the Ivankov and the Karasu and a couple of triggers, but you don't, like we needed an extra slot for a 2-cost, because I was running these shitty cards like Carrot, which is just a 2-cost 3k with a trigger. But this has an effect. And that match, like that deck, the low-cost Betty, is actually specifically struggling against Lucci. because Lucci can just play forecast Lucci and wipe your entire board without like any sort of reduction or anything. But this card helps with that. So in a low cost Bello Betty build, I like this card a lot, especially because it boosts to 6k, right? Since this is a 3k, it boosts to 6k. Very, very nice. Let's just quickly look over what people are saying about this card, because people were very hyped and very fast to go, oh, this card should definitely go in the deck. So starting off at the top here, straight Bello Betty support, not even that bad at that. This guy's onto something, right? It's not that bad, but it's Bello Betty support, but it doesn't really do anything. Why did they make this card 3000 power? Because it's good. Isn't this just red 3 cost Tashigi? Well, no, because Tashigi rested itself. This card has to trash itself, so it's very bad. And it's only KO. Anti-mole gun. Don't really care. We never really cared about that. Let's see. Never gonna like black decks live, it seems. It's not really gonna do much against black, because like, yes, sure, it does deal with like Lucci and Blackbeard, but those decks aren't gonna really be around in OP13. The way I understand power creep and understand anniversary sets, once anniversary set hits, 99% of decks get fucking washed off and don't ever see play. Lucci is of course a really powerful deck, but it just doesn't have a place in the meta at the moment. And I think Blackbeard is very meta specific, so depending on how good of a matchup he has into these different new leaders, he could still be around, but I don't think it would make this card playable necessarily. These are just they're just saying Blinking Vision Secret, this could be a 1k power to not have a potential attacker. No, we want it to be an attacker. If it's not an attacker, it's literally just a bad card and will not be run. Even the Searcher has plus 2k. Not sure what this and that. 3k probably has 6k leader. I don't know. Okay, they're talking about the power line of it, and that's like the confusing stuff, right? If only this was a blocker too, yeah, it would probably be a little bit overkill. Here, Don Carleone knows what he's talking about. Card is mid as fuck. It's best in Betty though. This is a Sabo player, right? And in Sabo, this card is just not good in OP13 Sabo. So definitely fair that this is just for Bello Betty, right? It doesn't make sense in any other Rev Army decks. Like it might go in Dragon, I guess, but Dragon, I don't know. Dragon is just bad. Yeah, how can you guys compare this to Shishigi and Rocinante? Sounds about right. That's how I feel about this card too. I think it's very mid. It seems like people aren't saying too much about it being insane. I saw a lot of it though when I was first Kobe upscale. No, but I swear I saw a lot of hype around this card when it was first revealed. Even if it might not be in this chat here. I know people were excited about it. And like I said, I think it would be incredibly strong in a low-cost Bello Betty shell. But for now, it doesn't look like it goes in a main, like a standard Betty build. It's too slow. If you want it out, then you're giving up chances to play other things. It doesn't really go on our curve properly. Can't be played off forecast Ivankov. It's really, really rough. I cannot, like, this is his only card in the entire deck basically that can't be cheated off Ivankov. It's so bad. Hopefully we get some more support. Obviously the new other support isn't going to be Ivankov, which is going to be great. So those cards can at least be cheated off Ivankov. And we have a good set ahead of us of great new support. It's going to be very, very sick. Other than that, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, please leave a like down below. It helps me out a ton. And yeah, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe. That way you can see all this content when it drops. You can get notified when it comes out and you can be the first to see them, know all my thoughts about things like leaked cards and such. Other than that, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace.